Heads or tails, Gator?
Tails.
He calls a tail. It is a tail. You receive or defer?
Give me the ball.
There we go.
All right, here we go, Gator. Question number 1. Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti said he actually offered Lamar Jackson a chance to sit in interviews with possible head coaching candidates this year. Is this a good idea? Should more teams let star players sit on head coaching interviews?
I don't think I have a problem with this. I think I don't want to be hypocritical. Because I remember when Aaron Rodgers wanted input on with the draft. I guess he wanted to be told what was going to go on with the draft, and I'm like, well, it's got nothing to do with you. Coaches are different. You're talking about a relationship that a coach is going to have with a quarterback. If that's your star player, then yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it depends on each team's going to depend on their circumstances and how they feel about that relationship, how important it is. I think in most cases it would be very important. So with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, I think it's wise. I think just to get a gauge for what it is. Now, he's not going to run the interview. I can't imagine that's the case. But to have him sit in and then you get some input from him afterwards, I don't have a problem with that.
I've given this some thought for when I eventually buy the Lions from the Ford family.
Okay.
And when I'm in charge in interviewing a head coach, I absolutely will include a player under the following circumstances. If I have a clear-cut alpha dog, somebody that is the clear leader of the team. And in the case of the Ravens from afar, it looks to me like Lamar Jackson would fit that criteria. If you have multiple guys, then you get into why is he sitting in the room? And so it would have to be only when I have a Tom Brady, a Lamar Jackson, a Ray Lewis, some player that was clearly the alpha dog in my roster where he could represent all the players and everybody would be cool with it. But if I don't have that, no players are sitting in.
Yeah, this is clearly a case-by-case basis, in my opinion. Just kind of like you said, Doug, maybe the alpha dog, the clear leader, the clear franchise player. Just can't be the quarterback of the team. He's got to be the guy that your last coach got fired because he couldn't he couldn't utilize your talents or whatever. Lamar Jackson is in this stratosphere. So I don't know if I really need the player there, but I definitely want his input. But if someone like Lamar Jackson actually wants to be there, I think that's a good sign. Like if he's actually like, yeah, I want to be in this. That's a good. You want guys that are proactive, that want to be involved, that
invested.
Yeah, absolutely. So if Lamar wants to be there, show up, man. They'll send the plane for you. All right, a Broncos reporter asked Broncos head coach this week, Sean Payton, about getting linebacker Greenlaw back and attacking downhill. This is how Sean Payton responded. So some people think this was condescending and belittling. What do you think?
I think it was. But I think what Sean Payton did was he slipped up and said something that coaches and players want to say to the media all the time. Oh, yeah? Yeah, you didn't like that zero blitz? What do you know about zero blitz? I think they want to say stuff all the time. But they bite their lip because of how it comes across. I also wonder if there's a history there. Sean Payton doesn't seem like a particularly bad dude, so I kind of wonder if there's a history with the reporter. But I think that was a crack in the veneer where something that players and coaches think about a lot that they just want to say to reporters, but they think better of it, and he didn't in that moment.
I think he can be a little huffy at times. I mean, he doesn't have a pristine past, but that's okay. I think he's also probably feeling a little pressure here. He's the number 1 seed in the AFC. And it's getting closer to game time, and you feel the pressure. You might crack a little bit. I don't think I don't know what the question was exactly, how it was worded. Maybe the question could have been crafted a little bit better. Hey, you're getting Greenlaw back. How soon before you think he's up to full speed? That kind of thing, and where you don't even think twice about him because he's obviously a difference maker on this team. But using a term like running downhill. I mean, that's a broadcasting term, right? Or it's a term that coaches will use and broadcasters will copy. So you want to throw it back at the coach like, hey, you're running downhill? You don't even know what the hell that means. The guy's like, yeah, no, you don't. Okay. I think you're probably more right than wrong, Doug. Maybe there was a history there with that reporter and had the opportunity to stomp on him a little bit, and he did. And, Khang, you asked the question, was it condescending or bullying, or what was it, whatever you phrased it?
I said some people think it's condescending and belittling.
Yes, and yes, it was.
Sounds domestic. I have no idea. I don't think it was.
What about Torrey Holm or Torrey Hunter?
I don't think it's unnecessary. Or I do think it was unnecessary. I'm sorry. I'm not sure the relationship they have either, guys. Yeah, I agree with that part. Do they have a bad history? But he could have just literally answered it like he did at the end of it and saying, yeah, it's good to have Greenlaw back instead of saying that. But I think you're right also, Doug. He probably answered it how every NFL coach wants to answer every question from reporters who have no idea what they're talking about. He goes, yeah, a linebacker running downhill. What do you know about that? What are you talking? You're just using buzzwords. So, yeah, he probably said what should have been kept in his head. All right, this week, former head coach Tony Dungy went off on Twitter/X on a rant about how the NFL playoff scheduling is unfair. Many teams are put at a disadvantage because the NFL only schedules based on ratings. Is he right? Should the NFL take into consideration rest times for teams?
Of course they should, but they won't because it's all about money, and player safety takes a back seat for sure. I mean, one of these days it's going to cost somebody who is in concussion protocol, and they could have used one more day to get beyond concussion protocol, and they can't because they're forced to play a day earlier than they normally would. Or it's a player that could use that extra day to have that ankle injury heal up just enough so they can get onto the field and make the one play they need to make, but they can't because NFL scheduled this thing a day earlier than they normally would because, hey, ratings. It's all about money, and the Players Association knows it too, and they understand it, and you know, it's all about the players being able to make more money as well. So they're in bed with each other on this, but yeah, it's something that's never going to change.
So I like the idea that the top seeds get better, the most advantageous position throughout the postseason. Postseasons are great, but one way to enhance the regular season is to incentivize things like being a division winner and being a top seed in a conference. And if that means more rest time for that top seed, great. And for the bottom seeds, yeah, they should have the toughest path. So anything that incentivizes you to do better during the regular season is a different tack than you took. I want that to be the case. I want the top seeds to have the biggest advantage they can possibly have. So if that means more rest time, do it. And to hell with the networks.
Yeah, of course Tony Dungy's right, and of course the NFL won't change it because I've been saying for decades the NFL only cares about money, right? The truth is, though, guys, I think the games would get ratings no matter what. I mean, it's the NFL playoffs. These things, they bank, and there's a reason why everyone wants an NFL playoff game on their network or streaming platform. But what the NFL wants to do, and I get it, is they want to maximize those ratings. They know they're getting good ratings. They want great ratings, right? And they want the best matchups on prime time. I mean, it's actually ridiculous that we have to listen to the play-by-play guy and analysts say, yeah, we have the NFL schedule. We don't know what teams are playing what yet. During their game, they're waiting for the game to finish to figure out what the NFL wants to do.
Night,
it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's not going to change, unfortunately. Teams are going to be at an advantage or disadvantage based on what the prime time matchups are. All right, who is the best NFL coach left in the playoffs?
So I've long been a Mike Vrabel guy. Go back to the 2018 coaching cycle when the Lions were in it looking for a head coach. I was in the Vrabel camp on that coaching cycle, and they chose Matt Patricia. If Vrabel has one of these personalities that I think he gets through to the guy who's on a 4-year, $80 million contract and the guy who's making the league's minimum. And I think he gets the most out of his team. You look at he won at Tennessee. Eventually, he didn't. And he won it at New England. And so I'm a Vrabel guy, and I think he's the best left.
I want to say Vrabel because I'm a Vrabel guy too. Payton and McVay are the ones that have the Super Bowl rings. But I'm going to go with Kyle Shanahan. What he has done with his roster this year is wildly impressive, and it's maddening at the same time because it's the argument that everybody can throw right back at you when you're trying to defend what happened to the Lions this year. You can't really go with 100% anymore and say, well, injuries decimated the team because look what San Francisco is doing, and they continue to do it. And now they have to continue through the playoffs without George Kittle now. It's amazing what he has been able to do with that team over the years without having that marquee quarterback. They literally have Mr. Irrelevant is their quarterback, and he's fitting into that system beautifully.
I think you got to go with one of the coaches that have a Super Bowl ring. That means they've already won it, and they're both still in the playoffs going for another one. So between the two, McVay and Payton, I'm going to go Payton, even though he's condescending and belittling to reporters. Like I said, he's already done it once. He's trying to do it again, but this time with a different team that he had to rebuild. He may be a jerk to some people, but that jerk can coach football. All right, Mike Tomlin was the head coach of the Steelers for 19 years, guys. Will we ever see another head coach last that long with one team ever again?
I don't think we will. I was just trying to think. I didn't look it up to see how long Andy Reid has been at Kansas City, but
13 years.
Yeah, I mean, to do that for another 6 or 7 years, I don't think that's going to happen for Andy Reid as he gets older and older. He's a great coach, but I think what we saw here is it's kind of the end of the era. I think what we've seen here, even though Tomlin wasn't fired, but was on a hot seat of sorts, winning for 19 straight years isn't good enough. You have to win championships every once in a while in order to keep that position. And John Harbaugh is a great coach, and he was just fired. So I don't think this is going to happen again anytime soon. Money is always going to be a fact where somebody can offer more. If your contract comes up and you're going to get it, you're just going to negotiate your way out of it. So I don't think it's going to be 19 years of the same team.
I think we will see it. Belichick just finished a 23-year run with the Patriots. Harbaugh would have made it if the field goal's good. He probably would have got a 19th year to match that number. And Andy Reid is only 6 years away. Those are recent examples of guys that are right there or came close or exceeded that. So I think it will happen.
Yeah, the only possibility is Andy Reid. I could definitely see Mahomes playing 6 more years. The question is, would Reid coach for 6 more years, which would make him, he's already 67 years old, so probably not. I would look out for maybe Dan Campbell, if you just can't get away from coaching. He's got to win a Super Bowl, though, because that's how you extend that contract, right? That life as a coach. But the money's too good now, so they don't have to coach that long. All right, last one. Last week, guys, the wild card weekend, there were 6 games broadcast on 5 different networks or platforms. Will this eventually hurt the NFL?
Well, I really don't know. I was trying to figure out how would it hurt. It feels like the biggest wounds you can give them is ratings. And the one game was streamed this weekend, and that game finished 4th in the ratings. So it didn't finish 6th. It didn't finish a distant 6th. It finished 4th. It was the Bears Green Bay game. So I don't know how being on different networks could hurt. I've thought streaming might hurt, but the data that comes back says that it wasn't out of the realm of right there with the rest of the game. So I don't think it hurts. No.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts either. Certainly not in the earnings for the NFL. I mean, they negotiate this stuff ahead of time, and they get paid. So if it doesn't work out, they still get paid, and then they'll pivot and find another way to make more money. It's just they've done a brilliant job of finding the revenue streams consistently with the National Football League, and Roger Goodell has just kept up with that. He's actually taken it to a whole different level now with the world we live in.
Well, people don't like looking all over for their shows and things like that. That's why how it could hurt. I'm not saying it has hurt, but like it was on NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, Prime, right? Those were the 5 networks that had it this past weekend. It's not going to stop. They love hitting the open market and auctioning off these games, basically. Like, let the market decide what these NFL playoff games are worth. Everyone wants one. It's not going to slow down, guys. Prime just had their most viewed game ever. I think one day we're going to have a wild card game on HGTV. We're going to have a divisional playoff game on the Food Network. The NFL wants everyone bidding on these, and why not? If you're going to get a bank of ratings for one day, like the Super Bowl-ish, then if they make money off it, the networks, they're going to be everywhere. And it's funny because the college football playoff is only on one network.
And there it is. That concludes the NFL Blitz thingy. There is coaching news regarding the offensive coordinator position in the Detroit Lions. 2 new names reported to be getting interviews, and one guy we want interviewing elsewhere. We'll get to the very latest, and an unexpected name throws his hat into the ring. We'll get to that coming up today at 10:50 on Karsch and Anderson on 97.1.